You tune into the Sportscast with Brian, Craig, and Jeff. Give you all the sports news you need. We give you outspoken thoughts about all the headlines. We talk baseball, football, hockey, and more. No matter the topic, we cover it. Get ready for the show and keep it outspoken. Keep it outspoken. We keep it outspoken only on the Sportscast. Tune into the Sportscast with Brian, Craig, and Jeff. Give you all the sports news you need.
Hello, everyone. Welcome in to Watson's Playbook. Hello, everybody. Welcome into episode number 33 of Watson's Playbook. Hope you guys have had a fantastic week. I have here in the Watson household. We're getting ready for the playoffs. Yes, the playoff bracket has been set. We know who's playing who. We're going to break that down a little bit into the spotlight of the week. Give you kind of my predictions of what I think is going to happen. And go on from there. We'll give you the weekly update here in a second. I am flying solo again this week. Just a very busy man. Can't jump on tonight, so hopefully he'll be back in next week. But let's go ahead and jump into the weekly update of the last season, the last game of the season in the NFL. Number one, a big story was a Sunday night football game. The Eagles took on the Washington football team, and we all know by now that if Washington won this game, they won the division. They go on to the playoffs. If they lost this game, the New York Giants, who beat the Cowboys earlier on Sunday, the Giants would go on to the playoffs. The Eagles laid down and lose to the football team 20-14. Doug Peterson. Now, first of all, a lot of players in the Eagles team were sitting out, healthy scratches, injury concerns, things of that nature. They still had Jalen Hurts in their playing. Doug Peterson benches Hurts in the fourth quarter and brought in their sixth-round pick that was 2 years ago, Nate Sudfeld, who looked incompetent at the quarterback position, fumbling the football. This was a very close game. They were only down by 3 at the point in time. It looks like Doug Peterson lost on purpose. Now, of course, he came out and said he's coaching to win the game. Eagles players, Eagles organization were very upset that he took out Jalen Hurts. So there was also incidents where they were down by 3 on a 4th and goal from the 4-yard line, and they went for it instead of kick the field goal to tie the game. A lot of coaching decisions that didn't make no sense in this game. It looks like they laid down. A lot of people were upset about it. And here's the thing, all right? The Giants coach came out and was very upset about it. Look, the Giants have no right to be upset. If you want to make the playoffs, be better. The Giants started off 0-5. They went on a little bit of a run. They struggled at the end of the season. If you want to make the playoffs, control your own destiny next time. Don't have to rely on someone else to do so. The Eagles actually, they needed to lose this game because they stick with the 6th seed. If they won this game, they would have dropped to the 9th seed, 3 spots. Now, it may not be that big of a difference, but it could be. If someone's moving up to get a quarterback, maybe they want the 6th seed. Maybe the Eagles can turn that into something for the organization. The Eagles coach said, I will play Nate Sudfeld at some point in this game. He deserves to get some reps. He's been here for 3 years. I have no issue with what happened. They didn't ask the NFL to be put in the Sunday night football game or the Sunday night football spot so that everyone could watch them. They didn't ask for that. And everyone wants to talk about the integrity of the football, but go talk to the NFL about the integrity of football when they had the Denver Broncos play a game with no quarterbacks to send a message. So don't give me this integrity of football crap. Eagles did what they needed to do. They lost the game. Washington football team will go on to the playoffs as they win the division, and they will host the Buccaneers next week. Number 2, Cleveland doesn't Cleveland it up, and they beat the Steelers to make the playoff appearance 24-22. Now, the Steelers were setting Ben Roethlisberger. They set some of their key starters, give them a good rest before next week because they already clinched their division and clinched that playoff spot. The Browns had to win to get in, and they did. They won 24-22. The first time Myles Garrett and Mason Rudolph got a chance to meet up. Last time they did, Myles Garrett, we all remember, took off Mason Rudolph's helmet and hit him in the head and called him racist, said he used some racist slur. We still don't know what happened there in that scrimmage, on that bottom of that pile, and who said what. But they met up at the end of the game and seemed like they were pretty friendly. So they will face each other next week in the playoffs, and be interesting to see who wins that game. In a must-win game, the Cowboys, they cowboy it up and lose to the Giants 19-23 as McCarthy continues to look unaware in game-time decisions. He didn't challenge a huge catch. The Giants remove the ball down the field. Dallas calls a blitz. It actually works out. They get a big blitz, and it turns into a 3rd and 17, 18 yards. The next play, they throw a pass. And mind you, at the time, the Giants were only up by 1. They throw a pass. It looks like it was incomplete. They call it a catch. Coach McCarthy does not challenge, and that puts the Giants in field goal range. He kicks the field goal, and they go up by 4 points at that point. So no challenging there. There's a point in the game where they should have gone for 2. They didn't go for 2 to cut it to a 1-score game. The Cowboys came out slow and didn't play in the first half. Andy Dalton looked horrible in the first half, overthrowing players, missing players. The timing was off. Zeke was injured in and out of the game. Andy Dalton looked like playoff Andy Dalton. He has never won a playoff game, and he didn't step up today and play, or stepped up there and play. But the Giants, as they won the game, they fall short because the Washington football team won against the Eagles. Number 4, the Ravens and Colts and Titans all win to make it to the playoffs. The Ravens and Colts are a wild card team, and the Titans, off of a doink off the goalpost, beat the Texans 41-38, locking up their division. So all those teams make it. The Miami Dolphins, number 5 here, needing to win to get in, or some other to lose to help them. Well, Miami got dominated by the Bills. They allowed 56 points. Miami went 10-6 and will miss the playoffs. Miami, Brian Flores looks to be like he's turning out to be a really good coach. Miami looks to be promising. Now, they've got to figure out if they have a quarterback in Tua Tagovailoa. At times this year, he's looked good. A lot of times he's looked bad. We don't know what he's going to be yet. They have the 3rd draft pick in the league coming up this draft. So their dilemma is: do they trust in Tua? Do they trust in Tua, or do they go ahead and draft a different quarterback? If I was them, I would draft another quarterback because you never know the odds of you getting that high to draft a future all-star quarterback. If Justin Fields is there, if Zach Wilson from BYU is there, depending on who goes where, depending on who moves up to steal a quarterback, Miami might want to think about keeping that pick and taking a quarterback just to be safe. Tua has a lot of growing to do in the league. We'll see where they go on from there. They have a good defense. They just didn't come ready to play. And this is a game if they needed to win. The Bills just dominated them. They put up 56 points. But like I said, the Miami Dolphins look to be a really good future football team. But Brian Flores is the head coach. They just have to figure out if Tua is the guy or not, because Fitzmagic, I don't think, will be there next season. Number 6, another team who needed to win to get in, but fall short is the Arizona Cardinals. They lose to a backup quarterback 18-7 to miss the playoffs. Kyle Murray missed a lot of this game with injury. He's been injured a lot this season. I think it's what really held him back this year is his injuries, not being able to be fully effective. For him to be fully effective and a good quarterback, he's got to be able to move in the pocket and get out and run and use his legs. He's really good at not getting hit. He's a smaller quarterback. That's what they really worry about. But his hamstring, I believe, is what he's injured a lot this year. And he's been out and been missing games or hasn't been 100% to where he hasn't been able to run. And if you can force him to not run and make him throw the ball from the pocket, it's really not his specialty. So the Cardinals end up losing, and they do not make the playoffs. Number 7, my Green Bay Packers dominate the Bears 35-16, locking up the number 1 seed. The Bears still make the playoffs because of the Cardinals losing. Rodgers throws 4 more touchdowns, almost locking up the MVP. The MVP is interesting. You got Aaron Rodgers, you got Patrick Mahomes, there's Josh Allen talks. Those are the 3 best quarterbacks this year statistically. And then you look at what Henry has done from the Tennessee Titans. He rushed for over 2,000 yards, and only 8 people have done that. So it'll be interesting to see. They do give it to running back. We do know most 99.9% of the time it does go to a quarterback. So I would not be surprised if they went and gave it to Henry because the fact that what he's done is so rare. But I just think it's got to be Aaron Rodgers' award. He has already won 2 in his career. This will be number 3 for him, which would be fantastic, adding on to his achievements. Now, he leads the league in almost every statistical category as a quarterback to lead in that are, except yardage. Yardage goes to actually Deshaun Watson. Yardage goes to a couple other guys, even Patrick Mahomes in front of Aaron Rodgers. But every other category goes to Aaron Rodgers. Touchdown interception ratio. He threw for 48 touchdowns this year. He has only 5 interceptions. His completion percentage is over 70%. His quarterback rating is the best in the NFL. All those things line up to saying this guy's the MVP. Other guys that have won those awards, when he had his MVPs before, he has had those 3 categories, and he leads the league this year in most statisticals. So I think it's got to go to Aaron Rodgers, and I'm not just being biased on that. He's actually taken over in Vegas to be the MVP as the best odds going into the playoffs here. So we'll see if he wins that award or not. So, there's some other interesting awards coming up about Offensive Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year. And TJ Watt is the sack leader with 15. Different things like that. Rookie of the Year, is it going to be a quarterback, or is it going to be Justin Jefferson from the Minnesota Vikings, who had one of the best seasons for a wide receiver as a rookie? Justin Herbert, his team didn't do too good this year, but he put up pretty good numbers. Joe Burrow was in there, but then he got hurt. So a lot of different awards going to come out in the next couple of weeks. We'll figure out who wins those, and I'll relay them here to you on Watson's Playbook. All right, guys. Sidelines. We're going to jump into the sidelines edition here. It was Black Monday this week, and they call this Black Monday because it's the Monday after the last NFL game where coaches get fired. So the Jets part ways with Adam Gase as he was 9-24 in his couple years there with New York. We kind of knew this one was coming. They were bad this year. They should have lost out to get Trevor Lawrence. They won 2 games. They can't even lose right, was what I was saying. They can't even lose correctly to get their franchise quarterback. Maybe they believe in Justin Fields coming out of Ohio State's another guy they could take, but they'll be looking for a new coach there in New York. The Jacksonville Jaguars also part ways with Doug Marrone. It's the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're a bad football team. They're still looking for the quarterback. They will take Trevor Lawrence. They lock up the number 1 seed. They will draft, or the number 1 draft seed, number 1 draft pick, and they will take Trevor Lawrence, a guy that will hopefully turn around their franchise. They got to look for a coach for him. There's been rumors about Urban Meyer coming back. You go into that situation with a franchise quarterback, and then you could really set your ways in going in and setting them back and kind of bringing this organization, hopefully, to the forefront of being a good football team. The Chargers fire Anthony Lynn. Thank goodness. This guy was horrible for them. This team is talented. He refused to play Justin Herbert at the beginning of the year. Justin Herbert comes in, and he's now their franchise quarterback. And I've been a big Joe Burrow fan. I followed him out of LSU. What he did his college career was great. He came in, he played really hard with Cincinnati. But Justin Herbert's got to be the better quarterback right now of the two when they were playing. Justin Herbert looks fearless. He makes those hard passes. He looks fun to watch. This is a guy I'm going to follow his career. Coming out of Oregon, they said he really wasn't ready to do so, to start in the NFL, but they were wrong. He came in. He's played really well. He's got talent around him. Let's see if they get a coach in there to do something. Now, rumors were that the Chargers have asked to interview Jason Garrett from the New York Giants. He's the New York Giants offensive coordinator. So we'll see what happens. I hope that's not the case. Jason Garrett's not a very good coach. He coached for 10 years and the Dallas Cowboys and had little to no success there. We all know the story of Jason Garrett, very conservative. I don't like him for Justin Herbert. I hope they get a guy in there, maybe even a college football coach, someone better than Jason Garrett. Get a guy in there that can really build him up and put this team to where they need to be. This team has always had talent, in my opinion. They just couldn't go to the next level. The Denver Broncos will hire a GM as John Elway will step down from that position, hire someone else to fill the general manager role, and John Elway will move up to the football president of operations. This is something that I think needed to happen. John Elway, fantastic football player. He hit with Peyton Manning, bringing Peyton Manning in. They won on the Super Bowl run. They went back-to-back Super Bowls. They lost one, won one. He's a king in Denver. Okay, he's a king in Colorado. There, he's failed to find the next quarterback. He's failed miserably at that. And we all know if you don't have a quarterback in the league, you're searching for one. And Drew Lock doesn't look right now to be the answer. I don't know if he will be. There's a lot of issues. You know, they had so many injuries this year and stuff like that. But there was rumors he really liked Justin Herbert, really wanted to get him, but then they drafted Drew Lock the year before, and he showed promise at the end of the season. So they didn't go after Justin Herbert, which now seems like a huge miss on their end. So he's giving the GM spot up to someone else. They're going to hire somebody, hopefully come in and find that franchise quarterback. This team does have talent. They're talented on defense. Their defensive-minded coach seems to know what he's doing on that side of the football. They still got Von Miller. He's getting older, but they have talent on the football team. They got Jerry Jeudy in the draft. They have Cortland Sutherland. They got Lindsey as a running back. And so this team, Noah Fant, I forget he went there. Noah Fant, I believe it's Noah Fant, the tight end. But they have talent. That's the point. They have talent. They can just find that quarterback. It's something that John Elway has failed to do so far. And we'll see what Drew Lock maybe can turn into. But I think Denver has to consider moving up in the draft to draft a quarterback. If Justin Fields, Zach Wilson from BYU looks like a guy I think they can move up and get out of BYU. Maybe they move up a couple spots. They have the 9th pick in the draft, so they're right there on the edge. There was talk about quarterbacks dropping, but I'm not sure that will happen after the bowl game, especially Justin Fields coming out and beating Clemson this last week. Moves his projectiles back to the number 2 quarterback. There was iffy because he had a bad game a couple weeks ago. The way they dominated to Clemson, he moves back up to number 2. Zach Wilson will probably be number 3. And there's some other quarterbacks in this draft that will go as well. But I think if Denver Broncos want to do something, I think they might move up in the draft a couple spots and draft Zach Wilson at BYU to be the next quarterback. Maybe sit behind Drew Lock a year or two, see if Drew Lock's the answer there or not, and then go forward with a better quarterback. But they are going to they're going to hire a GM. So I'm interested to see who's going to step into that spot. I really wish Jeff was here right now to give me some of his input, him being a Denver Bronco fan. But we'll have to go on without him. next week, maybe I can ask him that question, see what he thinks. Maybe they've hired someone by then, and we'll get his input here on Watson's Playbook of him being a Denver Bronco fan. All right, guys. It is time. It's game time. No, I'm just joking. It's Spotlight of the Week. We're going to talk about the first week bracket of the playoffs. I'm going to give you my predictions, who I think is what's going to happen, and we'll go on from there. So we're going to start with the AFC. The number one seed is the Kansas City Chiefs. They clinched the bye, and they have home field advantage. As long as they keep winning, the Super Bowl goes through Kansas City. They locked that up a couple weeks ago. Patrick Mahomes and them, we know how deadly they can be. At times this year, they look disinterested in playing football. People suggested that they didn't turn this. They're going to turn that switch on in the playoffs. So we'll see what happens, and we'll go from there. But they're a 14-2 football team, and they win a lot of football games. So number 2, the second seed Bills will face the number 7 Colts. The Colts are a very good football team. They play really good defense. They run the ball really well. And Phillip Rivers, when he is not turning over the football, can still be an okay quarterback. I think he's definitely on the downhill side and washed up. I think he will retire at the end of this year. We'll see what they can do. The Bills should win this game. They play great offense. As Josh Allen has taken that next step. He is in a category. He is in the MVP talks. He's taken that next step to the next level. See, we've seen him progress since he's come into the league. Really strong arm. He's been really smart with the football lately, playing really good football. The Buffalo Bills defense, I thought, was better than they were. They're number 15th in the league right now. That may hurt them going up against an offensive juggernaut like the Chiefs or somebody else. The Colts are not an offensive juggernaut. They're going to be the Bills are going to need to be able to slow down the run and force Phillip Rivers to turn over the football. They should be able to do that. I think the Bills, I think the Bills will win this one. But the biggest trade this offseason looks to be them picking up Stephon Diggs. Looks to be the biggest acquisition this offseason, and the way he's come in, he and just gelled right in with Josh Allen, the deep threat, his route running ability. He's a really good wide receiver. I'm glad he's left Minnesota. I didn't want to face him twice a year. If the Colts should win this game, here's what they're going to have to do. They're going to need to run the game, run the ball. They're going to have to run the ball. The running back's really good. He runs the ball really, really well. They're going to have to get that going, get that ground game going, get the time of possession in their favor. No turnovers from Rivers to win. And they must not allow the big play like I just talked about with Stephon Diggs, the big deep passes, the big play. They must tackle well, wrap up well. But if the Bills win this game and they move on to the next round, in my opinion. The next matchup is the Steelers versus the Browns. Number 3 Steelers versus number 6 Browns. The Steelers started off really strong in the season. They won 11 straight games. They didn't finish very good. They played the Colts. A couple weeks ago, they were down 21-7. They came back to win that game and clinched their division. If they lost that game, they could have missed the playoffs. But they locked that down. They get that win. Here's what they'll need to do. All right, they'll need to stop the run and force Baker Mayfield to beat you. Force him to make error throws because he can do that. Big Man must have a running game. He hasn't had a rushing game all season long. They were able to load the box and basically force Big Ben to beat you. They cover well. They know you're not going to be able to run the ball really well. They make the offense of the Steelers one-dimensional. Doesn't help that the Steelers wide receivers drop a lot of passes. We're going to have to see them make those catches. We're going to have to see Big Ben. We don't want him throwing 50 times a game. We don't want that because that will not be a good equation to beat anybody is when you got your quarterback throwing 50 times because the running back can't get the job done. Steelers must hang on to the ball, no turnovers. The Browns must run the ball and continue to do so. They run the ball really well. They have to get the ball out of Baker's hands and force some turnovers with Big Ben. I think that will happen. I think they're going to be able to run the ball really well against the Steelers. They ground and pound. I'm not saying that they're going to rush for 200-300 yards. I'm saying they're going to continue to be consistent with the run game, wear out that defense. Baker Mayfield get the ball out of his hands quickly, not make those big mistakes. I think the Browns upset the Steelers and take this one on the road in Pittsburgh, sending the Steelers home after what looked like to be a really good season. I think the Steelers lose in the first round. The number 4 Titans take on the number 5 Ravens. This is going to be an interesting matchup here. Titans must get Henry. King Henry, they must get him running, must get him going. He is a physical back. He rushed for over 2,000 yards. He's a guy that opens up the pass game for Ryan Tannehill, who's been really good this year. They go hand in hand like bread and butter. Okay, they go together like bread and butter. When Derrick Henry's on, it opens up the pass game for Tannehill, making those throws really well, throwing the ball to Brown up there. A good pickup a couple years ago for them. They must keep Lamar Jackson and contain him and make him throw the ball. They have to force him to not use his legs as much, not get those big games where he throws for 100 and runs for 100. The Ravens must stop and force. They must stop Henry and force Tannehill to throw to win. If they can do that, if they can shut down Derrick Henry, we saw it in Green Bay. They shut down Derrick Henry. He had less than 100 yards rushing. They forced Tannehill to beat him. It didn't work out too well. That is the game that the Ravens need to go back and watch, see how they did it, see what kind of defense they ran, slow down Derrick Henry. You have a really good chance of beating them. Lamar Jackson must be accurate with the football and run the ball efficiently. He's really good at running the football. If they can continue to do so, throw the ball well, have over 100 yards passing and over 100 yards rushing, they have a good thing to win this game. Derrick Henry is going to eat up the clock, time of possession. Every possession that the Ravens have is a very important one. I still think at the end of the day, I think Titans win this game, knocking out last year's MVP and Lamar Jackson, and I think they move on to the following round. All right, guys, let's break down the NFC. This one is tough as well. These games, this playoffs looks to be like it could be one of the best playoff matches that we've seen in a long time. So, number 1, the Packers have the home field advantage, locking up the number 1 seed. They got that bye week, so they won't play this weekend. Number 2, Saints versus the number 7 Bears. The Saints must stop the rushing attack of the Bears. The Bears like to run the ball a lot. They like to keep their offense, keep your defense on the field, run the ball, long drives. They like to get the time of possession, get the ball quickly out of Trubisky's hands. So the Saints must slow down the rushing attack of the Bears and just play their offense. They cannot let the Bears dictate what they do on offense. Drew Brees looks good so far. He's coming off of some rest. He did play the last game or 2 of the season, but he missed a couple games with the injury. He looks to be well rested. We'll see what he can do in the playoffs. The Saints seem to be cursed the last couple of years in the playoffs, so we'll see what happens. They're a very physical team. They got Alvin Kamara, all these guys. So, and Michael Thomas. Let's not forget Michael Thomas. He's been a little bit of hit or miss there this year, but he's still on the team. This defense looks good. So they just got to play their offense. If the Bears want to win, they must run the ball, have that time of possession. They must try and slow down Alvin Kamara and they have to get the ball out quickly out of Trubisky's hands if they want a shot of winning. When you watch, I don't think Mitch Trubisky is a very good quarterback. I'll tell you straight up right now. I think he's not very good at all. When they do win, the last couple weeks before they ran into Green Bay, they put up over 30 points on offense. They were doing something right. They got the running game going, opened up the passing game for Mitchell Trubisky. They got the ball in his hands quickly. That's the biggest thing. Play action pass, get the ball in his hands quickly, make him make easy, smart decisions with the football, because if you make it too difficult, he's not going to throw the ball very well. He didn't throw it very well against the Green Bay Packers. I don't think he throws it very well here. And the Saints win this game easily, in my opinion. I think Breeze looks really good right now, and I think the Saints defense will put pressure on Trubisky. I think they'll slow down the rushing attack of the Bears, and I think they're going to force Trubisky to make a couple bad decisions with the football, and the Bears will be sent home round 1. The 3rd seed, Seattle, will take on the number 6 seed Rams. And this is an iffy situation because we don't know if Jared Goff's going to play. He broke his hand or broke his throwing thumb the week 16 in the NFL. He didn't play this last week. We'll see if he plays. I'm not sure if he'll be able to, but I'm going off of that he's going to play. Seattle's defense has played great the last couple of weeks. Continue that. They must continue to play really good defense, get pressure on Goff, make him make bad decisions with the football, cover well, stop the rushing attack, make him one-dimensional, make Jared Goff throw up the football, because he will do that. He'll make mistakes. They must protect Russell Wilson from the pass rush of the Rams, keep him up on his feet. He is really good getting out of the pocket. That's no big deal. These wide receivers are great at breaking off their routes and getting it open for him to make those throws when he's able to get out of the pocket. They must continue to do that. If the Rams want to win, first of all, they got to have Jared Goff. 2, they must force Wilson to be uncomfortable. They must sack him, get to the quarterback. If they can get turnovers, obviously that's always great. Force him to make a bad pass. Slow down the rushing attack of the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks should win this game, especially not knowing if Goff is playing. How healthy is Goff going to be? We don't know. But I think Seattle will win this game and move on. Then you got the number 4 seed Washington football team versus the number 5 Buccaneers. If Washington wants to win, they must pressure Tom Brady and make him uncomfortable. That's always one of the biggest keys, especially going back to the Patriots. You pressure him up the middle. And the Washington football team have a really good defensive front four to force to force bad passes, to get the ball out quickly. And now that's what Tom Brady does. Not in this system. He does not run the Patriot system. But they must make him uncomfortable and must get a run game going and take the pressure off Alex Smith. Alex Smith is not a good quarterback. He's the ultimate bus driver. He's not going to come out here and throw 400 yards and 5 touchdown passes. It's not who he is. He's just going to make smart decisions with the football. He's not going to turn it over. Very often he doesn't. He's not going to lose you the game. He might not win you the game, but he's not going to lose it for you either. The Bucs must protect Brady against this pass rush from Washington. Like I said, they have one of the best defensive lines in the league. They're going to get the rushing game going as they got their main back and healthy for this game. It's going to open up the passing game. Brown has got a good connection with Brady already. He looked really good last week. The Bucs should win pretty easily, and they should win this game pretty easily and move on to the next round. And if this plays out, what I predicted, the next week would look like this. In the AFC, you'd have the Chiefs versus the Browns, and then you had the Bills versus the Titans. The NFC would look like this. The Packers would face the Bucs, and the Saints would play Seattle. All those games look pretty competitive, except I don't think the Browns can handle with the Chiefs. So the Chiefs might have an easy win there. If this all pans out, that's just my predictions of what I think is going to happen. The Steelers probably will beat the Browns and move on, but we'll see and go on from there. Those are my predictions for the first week here of the playoffs that are going on this weekend. This weekend schedule: Saturday you got the Bills versus the Colts at 12 o'clock, Seattle versus the Rams at 3:40, and then the game at the end of the night is the Washington football team versus the Bucs at 7:15. And then Sunday you got 3 games on both days. Sunday you got the Titans versus the Rams at 12 o'clock, the Saints versus the Bears at 3:40, and the Steelers and Browns to finish it up at 7:15. And then that'll lock into who's playing who next week. The the number one seed will always get the lesser seed. So if the Bears end up upsetting the Saints, they would go on to play Green Bay, and the Bucs or the Washington football team would go on to face the winner of the Seattle game, I believe. So it'll be interesting to see way it plans out. I have a good feeling about the Green Bay Packers this year. I really do. I think we have a good chance. We have the MVP this season in Aaron Rodgers. Well, at least I think. I think he should win it. You never know what's going to happen. It all depends on the voters and who's voting for it. I think Aaron Rodgers will bring home the third MVP. We have a good chance of going all the way. Every game I'll be nervous on the edge of my seat, biting my fingernails, screaming at the TV probably. But we'll go from there. And hopefully this weekend, we will find out who the Packers are playing. And hopefully you're able to watch these games going in, and this looks to be like one of the best playoffs that we're going to see in a long time with competitive football games, and usually it is. Now, Washington football team probably doesn't deserve to be there, but they're there. Someone from the NFL at least had to win it, and they did. So someone had to win it, and they were the ones that get the job done. So hope you guys are able to enjoy that. I'm excited, and I'm excited because my team is in it. I'm excited because my team is the number one seed. I'm excited because we look like we could go far. So I hope I'm not getting my hopes up. Now, look, at the beginning of the season, I predicted this team to go 8-8. I got a buddy of mine that will refuse to let that. Excuse me. He refuses to let me live that down. We're 13-3. Last year we were 13-3. I didn't really believe in us. I didn't believe that we were going to make the NFC Championship game. We did. We got blown out. I just felt like we got a lot of luck last season. And some of the numbers showed that we didn't play as well as we thought we did. This year, it's the total flip side. You got Aaron Rodgers playing at MVP level. You had the defense playing good enough. They're 8th in the NFL. We're starting to peak at the right time. Aaron Rodgers, his peak, and Davante Adams has had one of the best, if not the best, wide receiver year for a Green Bay Packer, breaking all kinds of records. He has 18 touchdown passes, and he missed 2.5 games this year. So if he had those 2.5 games back, no matter what he would have put up the number-wise, we seem to be clicking. LaFleur is doing a fantastic, wonderful job. This is a coach that I look at and go, we have a advantage with him calling shots. He's got our teams playing really well. The message that Aaron Rodgers has for this week on the bye is do not get COVID. Be smart. And my worry, if you're a Green Bay Packer fan, when the Green Bay Packers come off a bye, we don't play well. We never have for some reason. I don't know why. We come out slow and sluggish. If you come out slow and sluggish, you're going to find yourself at home the next week. Hopefully we can come out on fire, get that connection going with Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams. If not, someone else is going to have to step up. It looks like we'll be playing the Bucs more than likely, the team that stomped us early in the season. That makes me a little nervous. We get, but I'm not going to get ahead of myself. We don't know who we're playing. I'm going to be nervous every game going into whenever we're out of it. But that being said, hopefully you're able to sit down and enjoy these games coming up. Really excited about this. I wouldn't be this excited if my team wasn't in it, right? So if you're sitting at home right now and you're like, this guy sounds so excited, my team's not in it, I don't give a crap about football anymore, or whatever. Sorry about your feelings, bro. But right now my team's in it. Right now my team's the number one seed in the NFC, and right now I feel really good about our chances. I'm on cloud 9 right now, feeling really good. We'll see what happens next week. I might be a little bummed out if we lose next week, depending on who we face. So should be good. Should be some good action this weekend. NBA is good. NBA has started. Haven't really been following too much of it to keep up with the Lakers and the scores, because football, you're heading into peak playoff time here. So I hope that teams aren't affected by COVID. It came out today that the Browns will be coaching without their coach. Stefanski has COVID. 2 other coaches as well and 2 players, I believe, have it. I don't think they're big name players. We'll see what this effect has on the game this weekend. That might give the advantage, more of an advantage to Steelers. They're already favorite to win this series or win this game and move on. So we'll see what happens there. But I hope COVID stays away from the playoffs. We're able to have equal matchups going in with everyone having their starting quarterback and starting players. All right, guys, not much else to talk about right now. This is going to be the end, the wrap-up of this episode number 33 of Watson's Playbook. Hope you guys continue to have a great week. It's going to get cold and rainy here at the end of this week, maybe some sleet here in North Texas. It snowed last week in West Texas, and they got 3 or 4 inches of snow. It was New Year's Day, actually, going into New Year's Day. So it's been pretty nice last couple of days in the 60s. We're going to be falling down in the 50s. They're talking about sleet and snow and stuff. So we'll see what happens. I doubt we'll get anything, or we definitely going to get any snow here in Texas. But I hope you can continue to be smart, be safe, continue to better yourselves. I think it's it's a daily thing, right? I think that in myself is, what can I do to better myself? What can I do to better my family? Like I challenged you guys last week to set out a whiteboard and write your goals down on it, your personal goals, maybe your family goals, what you want to do better this year. What are things that's, it's this New Year's resolution time, right? And, I think a lot of people laugh at the New Year's resolutions because a lot of them fall short in a couple months and you don't even continue to do so. But if you want to make a change and you're serious about it, write things down. I think writing them down and looking at them every day can motivate you, maybe even remind you on some things like that. Mine is to lose weight, get healthier. I got to do so. I'm in the worst shape of my life. I want to be healthy. I want to live a long life, watch my kids grow up. So I want to start eating better. I want to work out more. And when we move into this house in April, hopefully, my garage is going to be my man cave / podcast room / gym. So I'm going to get a treadmill in there, get some weights, and I got to start eating healthy now. Start eating healthy now. Can work out then. I don't have time to go to the gym during the week. So I'm going to bring the gym at home, and it's going to be difficult to take some really what's the word I'm looking for? I'm going to have to be self-motivated to do so. And they say, losing weight is a lot of your diet. And tonight we had roasted rotisserie chicken and a salad, pretty healthy for you. We're going to throw more of those in. We've been boiling eggs. So I'm doing better with that. The holidays kind of ruined that, but we're going to get back to that. But write out your New Year's resolutions, write out your family goals and things you want to accomplish this year. And when we move into the new house, that's exactly what we're doing. We're putting a board on the wall, and we're doing those little things. And I have a board right now, actually, that I use for this podcast as well. I write things down, jot down little notes going on and in the computer as well. But write it down. Think of things you want to accomplish this year and work towards it. Even write down how you can work towards it and give yourself a little checkoff list. And I think that really could help you guys. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, but maybe you don't even care. You don't want even going to do it. But, I'm just looking for ways to better myself, better my family. And that's what I'm always trying to do. And I think one thing I need to do better is I need to be better spiritually. I've been blessed by God a lot. He's blessed me quite a bit in my life, and I feel like I lack a lot of things I'm supposed to be doing, and following him and reading scriptures and all that good stuff. So that's that's a goal that I have on my board, and that's a goal that I have for me, for my family. And one of my goals also was to educate myself, and then that's I want to read more books. And I'm not a reader. I hate reading, so it's going to be something that I'm going to have to sit down and do, but it's something I want to do and gain some more knowledge on things I don't really know. So just different things like that. So look at those things in the beginning of this year. Sometimes take time to reflect on last year and what you could have done better. And I understand unless last year's been super crazy and we're still going through it, and all the COVID concern and the racial injustice protest and even our presidential election and all that has been just a big stress ball, and everything coming downhill on you. It feels like everything's kind of piling up this last year. So let's make 2021 a better. Let's find ways that 2020 can, that maybe it knock us on our butt. Maybe we can get back on that horse and continue to go forward. And, God always puts stuff in your life, but he gives you things. He never gives you more than you can handle is what they say. So if you got trials and tribulations in your life, and we all go through them, everybody does, they're to learn from, get stronger from, and continue moving on, and you learn that lesson. And so 2020 seems like it maybe had a lot of life lessons for you to learn in such a short period of time, but continue getting better every day. Wake up. Happiness is a mindset, guys. Put a smile on your face and enjoy your day. Life is too short to be unhappy. It is way too short to be unhappy, but hug your kids, hug your wife. God bless you guys. Thank you guys for listening so much to this podcast. I hope you guys have a fantastic week. Message me if you want to, guys. Seriously, I would like to message you, get back with you guys if you have any questions about me personally, any questions about sports, whatever you want to talk about. I'm here for you guys. I'm on Facebook, Watson's Playbook Facebook page. You can email me at watsonsplaybook@gmail.com. We're on Twitch. We're on Twitter. We're everywhere. We're on Apple Music, Google Music. So everywhere you can find a podcast, I'm there. If you want to email me directly and ask me a question that you may have about parenting, about life, or just want a friend to talk to, whatever you want, I'm here for you guys. God bless you and be safe.